Well, this is it. Good luck. Look, I keep telling you, you're going to be all right. There's nothing to worry about. I'm glad we had this chance to see each other, Kathy, and help put things in perspective. Look, for old time's sake, you take care of yourself, you hear? All right, off you go. Just one foot in front of the other, and no looking back.
Sorry, an emergency.
What's happened?
Out on the road, a hit and run. Yes, Wentworth Detention Centre. We need an ambulance immediately. A hit and run. I don't know, but I couldn't find a pulse. Thanks.
I'll call the police. Yes.
Got Alison Page outside, Mrs. Davidson. She seems pretty upset.
Do you know what's the matter?
Well, she claims the women are threatening her. She really does seem pretty frightened.
Very well, I'll see her.
All right, Page.
Mr. Harrison tells me you are still frightened of the women.
That's right. And I want some protection.
I'd like you to tell me what has been happening.
Oh, they threatened me. They've all ganged up against me, said that if I don't follow their orders, they'll beat me up.
This is your first time in prison. There is an atmosphere here that most women find difficult to adjust to in the beginning.
But it's more than that. They've already attacked me, and now they've threatened me again. Don't you believe me?
It's not a question of not believing you. It is possible, however, that you are overreacting.
No, I'm not. They've already forced me to do something against my will.
What is it they have forced you to do?
That doesn't matter. What matters is that I shouldn't have to do it again. I just want to get this all over and done with and get back to my family. Please, you must help me.
If we are to help you, we have to be informed of all the facts.
Couldn't you just move me somewhere else where they can't get at me?
We can only protect you if we know who is threatening you.
But I can't. They'll know where the information came from.
Then I can't help you. Mr. Harrison, would you take her back, please?
No, please. You've got to do something. You must help me.
When you decide to cooperate, then I shall be glad to help you. Until then, there is nothing I can do.
Come on, Page.
Edgar Davidson.
Mrs. Davidson, I thought you ought to know there's been an accident outside the prison.
An accident?
Ted Williams just reported it. It looks like a hit and run.
Has an ambulance been called?
Yes, the police have been informed as well. Mrs. Davidson, it's an ex-prisoner.
Oh, Mr. Harrison.
Yeah.
There's been an accident outside the prison. A woman was hit. I think she's been killed.
Have they said who it is?
Well, we think it's a prisoner, someone who just got out.
Harrison? Bad business.
Yeah.
What are the details?
I don't know. Another prison officer found her. He's inside.
You got out here pretty quickly?
Well, they told me it might be an ex-prisoner. It was.
Well, it looks like she was up to something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think you and I ought to have a little chat, don't you?
Well, whatever she was involved with, it's finished now. She's dead.
Finished for her, but just starting for me. I mean, there is a little matter of finding out who did it. And we're going to have to be very careful here because, strictly speaking, you shouldn't have even been involved in finding out what was going on. It could be bad for you.
What do you mean, bad for me? You seem to forget I'm the one that gave you all the facts.
I'm not forgetting anything.
Look, all I was trying to do was find out what was going on. It shouldn't reflect on me. I was even beaten up trying to help her.
Well, that's natural, I suppose. Trying to help an ex-wife.
Yeah, well, would have done it for any of the prisoners.
Would you?
Well, I might not have got so involved, I admit that. I just felt I owed it to her. But if you're suggesting there was anything going on between us, then you're wrong.
You and Vera Bennett been holding hands?
Yeah, well, we're getting married, as a matter of fact. What the heck's that got to do with it?
Well, I just thought it might have been a bit of embarrassment for you having Kathy Hall inside. I mean, as far as Vera's concerned, you could even say she'd be relieved to see the last of her.
Now, just a minute. Are you suggesting that Vera and I had anything to do with this?
I'm not suggesting anything. My investigations are just starting in this matter. But I'm going to have to talk to Vera. I mean, so far as motives are concerned, she's way out in front.
What's the matter, Lady Muck? Scared, are you?
What do you want?
Well, I heard you've been talking to the governor again.
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, Bull, you talk about us, it's our business, and somebody's got to teach you not to dob people in.
Don't you touch me.
Look, what are you going to do? Run to the screws for protection? They can't watch you all the time, you know.
Look, I don't want any trouble. I just want to serve my sentence and get out of here. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I'm not used to people like...
Yeah, people like me. Yeah, you're too good for us. That's why you're in here, you know, because you're such a solid citizen.
I didn't mean it that way.
Well, you know better than anyone else, you know. And you need somebody to teach you a lesson.
Leave me
You
alone.
need somebody to teach you that you don't suck up to the screws.
Help me,
Yeah.
All right, Burns, that's enough.
I don't bet on it.
I said that's enough. You're going to see the governor. Come on, Paige.
Maybe now somebody will do something.
Oh, shut up, you little suck.
Excuse me, Mrs. Davison. There's been a bit of trouble between two of the women.
All right, Mr. Fletcher, I'll see them.
All right, you two, get in here. I was in the corridor when I heard a bit of commotion. When I got to the cell, Burns was about to start a bit of bashing. Weren't you, Burns?
Yeah, well, she asked for
That's enough, Burns. Paige, perhaps you can tell me what happened.
Mr. Fletcher's right. She just came into the cell to make trouble. If he hadn't arrived when he did, she would have hit me.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Davidson. I wasn't going to make any trouble. I just went in there to talk to her.
I suppose your sort always talks with their
What
fists.
sort are you talking about, you snobby bitch?
That's enough.
Oh, she gives me a pain. She's so far up herself.
I'm running out of patience with you, Burns. I have more important things to do than listen to trivial quarrels.
Trivial? I came to you for help before.
Oh, you did you?
This is why I asked. I'm in constant danger.
You could have helped yourself if you'd answered my questions. All right, I've no more time to waste on you two. Mr. Fletcher, take Paige to isolation.
Thank you.
Yeah, Miss Goody Two-Shoes will be much safer in there.
Just a minute, Burns. I haven't finished with you.
I can't tell you how glad I am to be getting away from the others. Where is isolation? Is it far from here? Will I be by myself?
What's going on here, then?
Wait outside, Brian.
What is this, a cell search or something?
That wasn't a request, Brian. That was an order.
Well, this happens to be my cell, too, you know. We share it.
Not anymore. Paige is being moved because of threats from you women.
Not from me.
None of you can be trusted. That's why she's being shifted. Now move it.
You see what I mean? You can imagine what she would have been like if you hadn't been here. I'm sure you understand.
No, not really.
Well, it must be obvious to you that I'm not like these women.
Oh, I'll give you that much. At least the others are honest with themselves.
You're all in here for breaking the law, Paige. I don't see much to choose between any of you.
I don't see how you can say that. I'm nothing like them.
No, you're not alike. At least the others accept each other for what they are. You, on the other hand, are so convinced that you're a cut above them. It's no wonder you're having trouble.
But
In fact, I'm surprised you haven't had more. Now, cut the chatter and get your things together.
Look, Mrs. Davidson, she's a real pain in the neck.
Behaving in a very childish way, Burns. To the best of my knowledge, she has never done anything to you personally.
Yeah, but she gets on my wick, that's all, and it's not just me. Everybody hates her.
And so you thought that hitting her would solve it?
Well, she's so flaming la-di-da, and she's been talking down to us ever since she got here. She's no better than us.
I understand how difficult...
Well, she talks to us as though we're dirt or something. And I thought a good thump would bring her down a peg or two.
I've had just about enough of this, Burns. There is no excuse for violence.
Well, she deserved it. She's a bloody bitch.
That is enough. Obviously, I am not getting through to you. Perhaps some time in solitary will.
Excuse me, Mrs. Davidson. Detective Inspector Grace is on his way over. About the hit-and-run accident, apparently.
Oh, yes, thank you. Would you take Burns to solitary, please?
Yes, of course. Come on.
Mrs. Davidson?
Yes, sit down, please. This is about the hit-and-run?
Well, I think it's a little more than that, Mrs. Davidson. The body's been identified as Kathy Hall.
Hall?
And she was just released today, I understand.
Yes, that is correct.
Who would have known when she's being released?
Well, just about everyone, I expect. Her friends in here, the staff, just about everyone. It wasn't kept a secret.
Anyone outside today would have known when she's being released?
Well, only Lizzie Birdsworth, but I hardly think...
Would she have known precisely when she was getting out?
No, only the staff and myself have that information.
Any of the staff outside today?
Yes, but I hardly
Now, look,
think
Mrs.
that
Davidson, this has been a setup. Someone outside knew that Hall was coming out today, knew her movements, and therefore they are involved. That makes it accessory to murder. And in cases like this, no one's above suspicion, not even a governor of a prison. Do I make myself clear?
Perfectly.
I intend to interview everyone. Now, who's the officer that's outside?
Vera Bennett.
Oh, you should have heard her. She really believes all that stuff about being better than us.
Yeah, I know, bloody ratbag.
Still, you gotta give Fletcher's due. He wasn't too impressed. He sort of stood up for us in his own way.
Where are you off to, Doreen?
The pound.
Oh, God, what for this time?
Oh, it's that bitch's fault.
Which one in particular?
Stuck up bloody Paige. She reckons I tried to bash her.
Oh, now, come on, Mr. Harrison. You know Doreen's not into that.
Yeah, and even if Paige did deserve it, Doreen would never do that.
Look, don't talk to me about it, ladies. All I know is that she is going to solitary.
On the word of that creep.
I really don't know anything about it. Now move it, Burns.
Oh, they can't wait to get me out of their hair because of all the excitement about the accident.
What accident?
Oh, seems there's been a hit and run outside the prison, I think. Somebody must have copped it.
Wouldn't be anyone we know by any chance.
I really wouldn't know.
Well, I just thought being right outside the prison, it might be someone from in here. Someone who was just released, if you know what I mean.
Come on, Burns. It's not a social gathering.
Oh, all right, you don't have to talk.
I'll do as he says, Doreen. You don't want to cross him.
Now, Mrs. Davidson, I need to know about the relationship that Hall had with the other prisoners. I mean, is any particular prisoner have a grudge against her?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just came to take Burns back.
Mr. Harrison's taken her to solitary.
Right.
Mr. Fletcher, just a minute. Suppose you know why I'm here?
Well, no, not really. I heard that there was a bit of an accident outside the prison.
Woman was killed. Kathy Hall.
Good God.
Now, why is Burns going to solitary? Has that got anything to do with Hall's death?
Well, I don't see how. There was a bit of trouble between her and a new prisoner, that's all.
Oh, who's this?
Her name is Alison Page. This is her first time in prison.
What sort of trouble between her and Burns?
Well, it wasn't only Burns. She was disliked by most of the other women.
She has the attitude that she's better than everyone else and lets them know it. That's her main problem.
Yeah, well, she just got everybody's back up, that's all. I think the women's reaction was pretty normal.
I see. There was no connection between her and Hall, then?
Well, yeah, there was a connection, but I don't think it's relevant.
I'll be the judge of that.
Well, Hall and Burns did attack her once, but
So there was a connection?
Yeah, but as I said, it was a pretty normal reaction. I'm not saying that I
What
agree
about
with
Hall?
Well, I got the impression that she was trying to stir up as much trouble as she could.
Oh? When was this?
Just before she was due to be released.
I see. Well, now we are getting somewhere. Obviously, she didn't want to be released. She felt safer inside.
It would seem so.
Now, look, can either of you think of any particular grudge that anyone would have had against her?
Well, there was the electric jug incident.
We thought it was just an attempt to frighten her.
Electric jug. Well, I did hear about that. Perhaps you could explain to me now, Mrs. Davidson, why no official report was made about that.
I've already answered that. We assumed it was just scare tactics. These things do happen.
An attempt is made on a prisoner's life, and you think it's a practical joke?
Well, we thought it'd be better
What? Not one senior officer in this place thought of putting in a report about it. Well, now the woman's dead. Doesn't say much about the people running this place, does it? Right, well, the first two I want to speak to are Burns and the Page woman.
Well, Burns is in solitary.
Yeah, say you said. At least she won't be able to talk to the other prisoners and cook up some story before I talk to her, will she?
Are they the only two you want?
No, I want to speak to the lot of them. Lock them all up and I'll talk to them one at a time.
Well, I don't think that's really warranted. Most of the women would consider that unfair treatment, and I would agree with them.
It doesn't really matter to me, Mrs. Davidson, what the bloody women think. I think you've got your priorities mixed up.
Now, look, I realize you have a difficult job to do, and I will cooperate as much as I can, but I will not be dictated to.
You have some objection to my questioning all the prisoners?
Of course not. But once you get their backs up, you can expect very little cooperation. In my opinion, you're going the wrong way about it.
Your opinion hasn't exactly been infallible lately, has it? Now, I'll run this investigation any way I see fit.
And I will run my prison the way I see fit. You are welcome to interview the prisoners, but it will be on my terms and not yours.
You're being obstructive.
Not at all. You are welcome to interview anyone you like, as long as you understand that I am in control. If that is not satisfactory, I am quite willing to discuss it with your superiors.
All right. That's the way it's got to be. I'd like to speak to Doreen Burns, please. If you have no objection, of course.
Open up, please. Inspector Grace would like to interview her. Doreen, this is Detective Inspector Grace. He'd like to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, what about?
Well, to begin with, how well did you know Kathy Hall?
What do you mean dead? Sounds like she's dead or something.
Just answer the questions, will you?
If you're going to ask questions about somebody who's dead, I want a lawyer here.
There's no need for that.
Oh, yeah? Think I'm dumb or something? I know how you cops work. I'm not answering any questions about anything.
That's a stupid attitude, Burns. You're just making our inquiries difficult.
Oh, that's your problem.
You realise that withholding information is a criminal offence?
And what are you going to do, put me in jail?
Well, just tell me what you know about Kathy Hall.
You're not listening to me. I said I'm not going to say anything without a lawyer here.
If I don't get the information I need, I'm going to have to question again, and you'll be first, and you can have 10 bloody lawyers here.
I haven't done anything.
Well, tell me what you know about Hall.
All right, ladies, shut down the machines. I want you all to go back to your cells.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Fletcher?
You ought to be locked into your cells temporarily. Nothing to be worried about.
Come on, hey, why? What for?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to tell you. Now move back to your cells.
This wouldn't have anything to do with Kathy Hall, would it?
Look, Smith, I'm simply carrying out orders. Now I suggest you do the same. Now move it.
Okay, ladies, you heard the man. Let's go.
Page, this is Detective Inspector Grace. He'd like to ask you some questions.
I'm sorry to intrude on you like this, but Kathy Hall, an ex-prisoner, has been killed. Now I've got to find out as much as I can about it.
How awful. Well, I'll help you all I can, of course.
Good. I can see you're not like the other prisoners.
Well, I don't know how much I can tell you. I had very little to do with her. But I did hear the others talking about her, of course.
Can you tell me who she had most contact with?
Well, I saw her a lot in the company of the ringleaders, I suppose you'd call them.
Do you know who that might be?
B. Smith and Judy Bryant and Doreen Burns, of course. As a matter of fact, Doreen and Kathy attacked me. They actually knocked me about for no reason at all.
Yes, well, there's no accounting for some of the prisoners in here, is there? What about Lizzie Birdsworth? Did she have much contact with Hall?
Oh, Inspector, surely you're not suggesting...
I'm not suggesting anything, Mrs. Davidson. It's just that Lizzie Birdsworth is outside the prison at the moment. I've got to explore every possibility. This attack I presume Hall and Burns were punished for it.
It was an internal matter, Inspector, nothing to do with the police.
That doesn't surprise me. Look, is there anything else you can tell me?
I'm sorry, I really don't know much more. I did hear a rumor that Dinah, something or other, had tried to kill her, but I'm afraid I don't remember where I heard it.
Well, thanks for telling us all you have, anyway.
All the women have been locked in their cells, Mrs. Davison.
Well, thanks, Fletcher. I hope it wasn't too much trouble for you. Come on, let's get on with it, shall we? Well, Smith, they tell me you're the boss lady around here, which means you'd know everything that went on. Now, what I want to know is whether Dinah Wolfe had anything to do with Hall's death.
I wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know or don't want to know? Which is it?
Look, if you're going to ask me these sort of questions, I'm entitled to a witness.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, well, I mean unbiased ones, don't I? Like a lawyer.
So you refuse to cooperate, is that it?
I'm not refusing to do anything. I just don't want everything I say twisted. Besides, I think you're speaking to the wrong people. Why don't you try the Screws? They might know a bit more about it.
Who in particular?
You're the detective. Go detect. But I will tell you one thing. I don't think the women know anything about it. You're looking in all the wrong places. I suggest you try a little closer to home.
So you're claiming one of the officers had something to do with it, eh?
I'm not claiming anything. But if that's what you think, why don't you do something about it? Go and question the Screws and not us.
Come on.
Hey, Jude!
Yeah?
Did you hear any of that?
I tried to, but I think I missed most of it.
Looks like we were right. Hall's death was no accident.
Murder?
Yeah. And they're doing their best to pin it on one of us.
You may as well let them all out of their cells.
But you've only spoken to a few of them.
Yes, I know, but it's obvious I'm not going anywhere with any of them. The only one willing to talk was the page woman, and she was bloody useless.
You'll be leaving then?
When's Birdsworth due back in?
Oh, this afternoon, but surely you don't
And
consider...
Mrs. Davidson, I have two main suspects, Dinah Walford and the irreproachable Vera Bennett. Now, no one is above suspicion, as I told you. I'll wait until Birdsworth gets back. With your approval, of course.
Yeah, well, he's done quite a lot to the place already. It's beginning to look real beaut.
I suppose it is. Well, you sound as though you've had a couple of wonderful days.
Oh, yeah. You know, when you've been in here for a while, you forget what it's like on the outside. Just as well, I suppose, otherwise you couldn't stand it.
I suppose so.
It's really terrific out there, especially when you got somebody nice waiting for you. You and me are the lucky ones, Mrs. M.
Yes, we are.
Ah, Lizzie, good you're back. There's somebody waiting to see you.
Struth, what it's like to be popular. I must get myself a private secretary.
Yeah, well, sorry, Lizzie, it's not a visitor. There's been a bit of trouble while you were out. Detective Inspector Grace wants to speak to you.
Why? I haven't even been here.
Well, he'll explain it all to you.
Oh, well, lead me to him. Nothing could spoil my good mood today.
She's dead, Birdsworth.
Dead? But I thought she was
What?
only... Nothing. I don't know.
Come on, Birdsworth. You thought what? Obviously you know something about all this.
But how could I? I wasn't even anywhere near the prison today.
No, you were outside the prison today. We've been waiting for you. You're special, you see. Someone outside had to give them a tip-off.
I don't know what you mean.
Murder, that's what I mean. Hall's death wasn't an accident. Someone had to be outside to tell them when she was getting out so that they could arrange to have a car waiting for her.
Oh, but I don't know anything now. Why would I?
I didn't say you did. But you were outside today, and I should think back on what you were going to say before. You thought what?
I only thought that... that someone was trying to scare her.
Who was that?
I don't know. None of us did.
Are you sure of that?
Of course I'm sure. Honest. Why should I know anything about it?
I think it's pointless going on with this, don't you, Inspector?
Yeah, get her out.
All right, Bryant, you can return to normal duties.
Oh, terrific. I can't wait. Hey, Lizzie, I didn't know you were back.
Well, good day, you old devil. How'd it go? Lizzie?
Come on, love, what's wrong?
This bloody place.
Well, at least you got out of here for a while. Strikes me you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, you sure are. Come on, how'd your weekend go?
Good.
You sit okay?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Lizzie. I expect you to be all smiles. I know it isn't very pleasant having to come back into this place, but at least you had some time together.
Yeah, you should be on top of the world.
I was until that mongrel attacked me.
Who?
Sid?
No. That rotten copper, Grace. Bloody animal.
Ah, so that's why the long face.
He practically accused me of murder.
Come off it, Lizzie.
Well, that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, he's been making everyone feel like that. I've been asking questions all over the place.
Look, honey, forget about him. We just want to know about your weekend.
Yeah, come on, tell us all about it. Don't leave anything out. Start
Where'd
at the
you
beginning.
go?
Well, you come back to this place feeling terrific. And before you know what's hit you, someone slaps you around and treats you like dirt and you're back where you started from.
Come in.
Hello. I just dropped Lizzie back and thought I'd call in for a chat. Have you got time?
Oh, Meg, I'll make time. After what's been happening here today, it's a pleasure to see a happy face.
Yeah. You mean the accident?
Oh, you heard about Kathy Hall?
Yes, before I'd been in the place 5 minutes.
We've had Detective Inspector Grace here all day asking questions. He's not a very pleasant man.
Is that why I want to see Lizzie?
Apparently she's one of his prime suspects.
Lizzie?
Oh, I don't suppose he really thinks she had anything to do with it. He's just covering all possibilities. I just wish he could do his job with a little less unpleasantness.
Has he questioned all the women?
No, just a few. He asked for them to be locked up, so he didn't get very much cooperation. Anyway, let's talk about something brighter. How was Lizzie when you picked her up?
Oh, almost impossible. She's so happy. Mind you, I couldn't wish it on a nicer person. Have you heard anything more about the attendance centre project?
Well, actually, I should hear from the board sometime today. If the answer is positive, then the project should go ahead very quickly, perhaps as early as next week.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Well, let me know when you're here. I must go. You know, if this project does get off the ground, it'll all be due to you, as well as being a great step forward in our treatment of prisoners.
Thank you. I'll try to think of that when Detective Inspector Grace reappears.
Yeah, that's fine, Julie. Right. Oh, listen, I'll need that. Oh, damn it.
Oh, dear. You're in a bad way today. Is anything wrong?
I'm just fed up to here with difficult people.
Oh,
Thanks, Mick.
anyone in particular?
Wentworth Detention Centre. Yes, she is. It's for you, Meg.
Hello, Meg Morris speaking.
Yeah, Mrs. Morris, it's Don Page here. Yeah, I hope I'm not inconveniencing you.
No, Mr. Page. What can I do for you?
Well, everything seems to be collapsing around me. I thought I could manage on my own, but, well, you did offer to help, and I'm at my wit's end. I wonder if you could call round. I need to talk to someone.
Oh, of course. Look, it's no trouble at all, and I've got some free time today.
Oh, that's great. Well, you know my problems, and you can probably help me sort them out.
I'll certainly try.
Oh, thanks. We'll see you this afternoon.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Well, it appears everyone's got problems today. Now, you were telling me about yours.
Oh, no. I'm all right, I suppose. I just shouldn't let people get to me, that's all.
People?
Yeah. Well, I take that back. I meant Detective Inspector Grace.
Oh, no, he is proving popular around this place.
Well, it's his manner. You should have seen the way he upset Lizzie.
Oh, no, and she was positively glowing when I brought her back in here.
Yeah, well, by the time he finished with her, she was positively miserable.
Oh, has he left?
Yes, he's gone to spread a little bit more good cheer. I think he's met his match this time. He's gone to visit Vera, and on a day off, too.
Yes?
Sorry to disturb you, Miss Bennett. There's been some trouble at the prison. I'd like to come in and talk to you about it, please.
This is my day off. Surely one of the officers can help you?
It's not as simple as that. I've got to talk to everyone who has anything to do with Wentworth.
I've got a lot to do today. I hope this won't take long.
Well, it is official business. I can't put a time limit on it.
Well, it sounds fairly important.
Kathy Hall was killed today. Hope that's important enough for you. Murdered, to be precise. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Yes, of course.
First of all, I want to know about your movements today.
Movements? What are you implying?
Look, she was killed outside the prison, run down by a car. Now, I'm not implying anything. I've just got to question everyone who has a motive and opportunity.
Motive? And what possible motive could I have?
Well, if what Terry Harrison tells me is correct, a very good one. I mean, you and he have been a little, friendly, shall I say?
What's that got to do with anything? My private life's my own concern.
Your private life has a direct bearing on my investigation. Now, Harrison also told me that you were upset about having his ex-wife around the place.
How dare you? He would never accuse me of anything like that. You're twisting his words.
Am I?
This is my home and I want you to leave.
So you're not going to answer the questions?
I'll answer anything that's asked properly and without insinuation and with witnesses present.
Come on, you can do better than that. You sound like one of the bloody prisoners. That's what they asked for.
Get out.
With Kathy Hall out of the way, you've got a direct line to Harrison. Now, that's a very good motive. You think about that, and we'll talk later.
Hello?
I hope you're satisfied.
Vera?
Inspector Grace was just here, but I suppose you know all about that.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Slow down. I mean, he's investigating Kathy's murder. He's got to ask questions. What are you angry at me for?
He practically accused me of murder. That's what for.
What?
Don't act so surprised. Why should you be after what you said to him?
Oh, no, look, I don't know what you're talking about. What did I say to him?
That I'd be relieved to have her out of the way, that it would give me a clear field with you.
But I...
Oh, look, don't bother denying it. Somebody told him about us. Someone who put those ideas in his head.
Look, Vera, I may have mentioned our relationship, but
Oh, don't bother.
I just don't know how I'll manage. With the kids running wild and the business falling apart.
Come on, Don, you're handling it really well. But even the strongest man would crack after what you've been through.
Strong. Not me, Janet. I used to think so, but since Alison's been away, I've realised how much I depended on her. She was the strong one.
You must be really lonely without her. I know what it's like. I'm often lonely myself. I just wish I could help you some more. I could come over more often, I suppose, help with the kids.
What?
I said I'd like to be able to help you some more. I mean, I quite enjoy cooking meals, cleaning up.
You've been very good to us.
Oh, it's nothing. I think lonely people should help each other out.
I suppose so.
Listen, Don, you know if ever you feel the need to talk, all you have to do is ask. I tell you what, why don't I come over later tonight and cook a decent meal, and then when the kids are asleep, we can have a nice long talk.
Oh, excuse me. Mrs. Morris, it's good of you to come so quickly. Please come in.
All right.
I'd like you to meet a neighbour of mine, Janet. Janet, this is Mrs. Morris, who's trying to help with Alison.
How do you do?
Nice to meet you.
Please sit down. Pour you a cup of
Thank
tea.
you. Yes.
Would you like some scones? Janet's just made some.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Oh, I didn't mind. Alison's brought so much trouble to the family, it's the least I can do.
It's just as hard on Alison as it is on the rest of the family, you know.
Yes, well, I suppose it is. She did bring it on herself, though.
Well, it's very generous of you to take your time out to help.
She's been absolutely marvellous. I don't know what we'd have done without her.
Yes, well, I suppose I should be getting back, really. I've got some things to do, and I'm sure you two would like to talk alone.
Thanks for the afternoon tea.
Anything I can do, you know that.
It's nice to have met you.
Yes. Well, see you later, Don.
Bye.
Vera, I've got to talk to you.
Don't waste your breath.
Now, wait a minute. What's going on? You ring me up, you abuse the hell out of me, you won't let me get a word in edgeways, and now you're slamming the door in my face.
What did you expect? To be welcomed with open arms? I'm the one who should ask what's going on.
Vera, nothing is going on. It's all a misunderstanding, that's all. Please, let me in. We'll talk about it.
Thanks to you, I had Inspector Grace here, treating me as though I were a criminal.
Now, look, I don't know what he's told you, but I wouldn't have said anything to make him do that.
He knew about us.
Well, lots of people know about us. Vera, if I hadn't have said anything to him, somebody would. Well, don't you think that's a bit strange? That's all. I just mentioned it.
Exactly what did you say?
Well, to tell you the truth, I can't remember. I was upset. They just found Kathy. Vera, I'm sorry if Grace upset you, but he upset the whole prison with his accusations. It wasn't just you.
And it wasn't very pleasant.
Vera, I wouldn't say anything to hurt you. You should know that.
All right, I believe you.
Thanks. Vera, I know you won't consider starting up again, but... well, we can still be friends, can't we? Maybe we could have dinner together. What do you say?
We'll see.
I didn't realise the enormous effect it would have on the family.
Particularly the children, if I know my job. You're going to have to spend a lot more of your time with them now, you know.
Just the point, I haven't got the time. Since Alison's been away, there's no one to answer the phone. I'm losing jobs. Creditors are screaming for money and everything's just collapsing.
Now, hang on, Don. It won't be for much longer. And Alison isn't exactly wasting her time in prison. She's using what skills she has and picking up a few more. Now, when she gets out, she could get a job, and that would help you all financially.
But I need her here.
Don, one of Alison's problems was that she had no sense of her own worth. That and boredom. Now, a job of her own could take care of all that.
It'd also give her gambling money.
No, that's only a symptom of the problem. I think you'd find that had vanished pretty quickly.
Perhaps you're right. But that's no help to me now, is it, Mrs. Morris?
Look, I think I should get in touch with Prisoners' Aid. I'm sure they'd be able to come up with some help.
No way. It was a prisoner organisation that bashed Alison, remember?
No, you don't understand. They're not prisoners. They're businessmen, housewives, people like yourself who've joined together to help each other.
Oh, I still don't like the idea. Maybe I could ask Janet if she'd help. She did offer.
Yes, well, I suppose she could. But I think you need organised help. Now, you think about it.
Well, you sound as though you had a terrific time.
Of course. Sid treats me like a real lady.
Well, I'm not going to hold insanity against him.
He's looking better, too. He reckons 'cause I'm looking after him.
Oh, God, give me strength. Well, I'm glad thinking about him's cheered you up. You're a mess when you got back here.
Yeah, that bloody Grace.
Not the nicest person in the world.
Who do you reckon did it?
Well, I know what I think, but I've got no proof.
Yes, Mr. Harrison was awfully anxious to get her out of here.
You're right. Even when she bashed up Paige, he didn't even give her any more time.
Well, I'll tell you something else, too. She did everything in her power to stay in here. He wouldn't even put her on report. She got away with bloody murder.
And maybe he did, too.
Why would he do that?
Who knows? All I'm sure of is I don't want to be left alone with him until whoever did it is caught.
Oh, he'd have to be nuts to try anything else.
It'd be nuts to try anything in the first place. I don't like the idea of being locked up with a killer screw.
Thanks, Vera,
What for?
for having dinner with me tonight. And the meal, being with you. It's made me feel almost human again.
It wasn't a very good day for either of us, was it?
Today? Oh, it's too far away. Let's not think about it. I'm just enjoying being with you. 2 coffees, please. Have you, heard anything about the Barnhurst position?
Nothing definite yet, but it looks good.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get it. Well, you've got the qualifications. I'd give you the job.
It's what I've always wanted.
What about husband, family?
Every woman would like that, I think. But a good relationship isn't easy to come by. Being governor, well, at least I know I can handle that.
I think you could handle anything you put your mind to. Look, Vera, I know things have been going a bit haywire for us lately, but I'd like you to think about it. Will you do that? Will you think about us?
All right.
Hey, let's drink to the future.
The future. What I said before, you're not completely against the idea, are you? No. A short time ago, I was planning on marrying you. My feelings don't change that quickly.
I thought they had.
No. It's just that I do need more time. So much has happened.
Well, of course you need time. But you promised to think about it. That's the important thing.
Yes. It's just not now, not tonight.
Darling, I'm not trying to rush you. There's no hurry.
I won't take long. Give me a week.
A week it is.
Don?
Oh, hello.
I hope you don't mind my using the key. You seem so depressed this morning, I thought I'd just better come round and check up on you.
Oh, I'm all right, but thanks.
Here, let me do that. Oh, Don, you need somebody. A man like you shouldn't be without a woman. Why don't you let me look after you?
But you have been looking after me. You've been a great help. I'm very grateful.
I mean, really look after you, Don. Look, I don't think I can hide it anymore. I love you. And I think you could feel the same about me. At least let's give it a try.
Just a minute. I don't know what to say. Janet, I'm married.
After what Allison's done to you,
Well,
you
the
have
kids are here. They could wake up at any minute.
They're old enough to understand. Besides, they're like me, you know they do. And they need a woman around just as much as you do.
I'm very flattered. It's just that you're lonely. Well, I am too. Why don't you go back home and we'll talk about it in the morning?
It's not loneliness, Don. I love you. Don't you understand?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this sort of thing. But I don't want to hurt you, but I don't feel that way.
You don't want to hurt me. You've been leading me on, and now when I try and bring it into the open, you say...
Leading you on? Why would I do that?
Well, because you needed help, and this was the cheapest way to get it. You've just been using me. Well, okay. As far as I'm concerned, you and your jailbird wife can sort out your problems yourselves.
Thanks for dinner. It was lovely.
Does that mean I can come in?
I don't think that's a very good idea.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
You gave me a week to think about it. I don't want to confuse the issue.
It won't.
Maybe not for you, but I'm not that strong.
Vera, you know you want me to come in.
I need that week. Thanks for dinner. Good night.
What are we going to do, Bea?
Well, I am certainly not going to let myself get caught alone while he's around. And I advise you two to do the same.
Do you really reckon Harrison murdered her?
On oath I do. Look, you think about it. He did everything he could to get her on the outside where he could have a go at her.
Yeah, he even knew what time she's been released and everything.
Right. I think we should all stay in pairs, at least until the guilty party's caught.
If ever.
You know, it would have to be set up by a screw. All it would take would be one quick phone call. Mind you, won't be long before the cops work that one out. He'll crack.
You've finished your investigation, then?
Well, I won't be able to tell you that until we've caught the murderer, Mrs. Davidson. However, I have finished talking to your prisoners, so that should make you happy.
I suppose I'll have the job of calming them down now that you've finished.
If you think it's worth it. Personally, I think treating hardened criminals with kid gloves is a bit stupid, don't you?
Hardened criminals like Lizzie Birdsworth.
She's just as likely to have useful information as anyone else.
Inspector, I realize you have a difficult job to do, but I resent your riding roughshod over people.
I wasn't talking about people, Mrs. Davidson. I was just talking about prisoners.
They're human beings, and as long as I am governor here, that is the way they will be treated.
Well, I shall let you know the outcome. And thanks for your cooperation.
What are you doing here, Smith?
He's cleaning up for Lizzie. She's still a bit upset.
Oh, what about?
Grace gave her a pretty hard time, asking all those questions about Kathy's murder. You don't seem to want to talk about it.
Well, there's not much point, really, is there? They'll find who it was. That's the main thing.
Why did you do it? Oh, come on, there are no witnesses. You can tell me. Why did you have her murdered?
There's no chance of you being believed, you know that.
Oh, I wouldn't accuse you of anything. Not unless I had solid proof.
Well, there's no chance of that, because I didn't do anything.
You know, when the cops get around to thinking about it, they'll realize it had to be someone like you. Because nobody else knew exactly when she was being released.
Well, you did. Or don't you count?
Oh. You know, around here I've got quite a reputation for being able to read these things. Oh. I can see someone making a phone call. And the arm holding the phone seems to be in some kind of uniform. Silly, isn't it? But then I'm sure you're much too intelligent to believe in that sort of luck.